Meto. Holiday. Karma. Hatmik kadam. Holiday.
Minnesota Institute of Arts. Look at the face.
Nasıl yapıt? Damla yapıt ama kiranç.
They have a Buddha photo.
Oh, they kept sharing. How did?
It's not that hard to make.
छोड़ दे खा लेते था
MIA.
खाचे था तेरे मम्मी आप पता है तो हम तो बहुत कुछ खीने ले ले
मजा
दिल दे हाँ दिल दे था दे मसले सो दे था पुगु टाइम में पुगु दे सो केला तो हम तो छठी छी दे रे तो पुगु दे सो ये ले रे टाइम में दे जो था छठी छी तो सेट छी 다들 모두 상마다 갈래 페기 지도 다들 게라기 개방달라기 다 담예도 당도 되게 지기도 부르메 상마지 다들 담예 상마기 미세도 세트 지기도 다 가서 담달래 사시 Ama kötü ciksara. Tamam ciksa.
I want to talk to you guys briefly about this performance or the musical group. This is a part of Tibetan American Foundation musical group. For the last 1.5 years, every weekdays they have been putting a lot of hard work. So as you will see, there are two main instruments, and this is kind of a tongue twister, so you guys can see it with me. One is the Tibetan guitar. This is a 3-string guitar, and we usually call it damnyen. And the second one is, as you can see, a couple of kids who are in the sitting position. That's called hammer dulcimer. Say it together with me, hammer dulcimer. This is kind of a tongue twister, I know. So we are delighted to announce that these about 30 students, led by the musical instrument teacher, Gang Yandela, are going to perform or sing or perform 5 special songs. So these songs are meant to honor or to pay tribute to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. These heartfelt performances are dedicated to expressing deep gratitude for his appointment, celebrating his extraordinary life, and this year he'll be turning 90th. So we will have a big 90th celebration in Asante on July 6th. Everybody is welcome to attend there. We have a big a hall. So through music and in tradition, these students aim to convey the collective love and reverence of Tibetan community for spiritual leader. Thank you so much.
Veya bu dansta, veya bu çasta. Veya bu dansta. Veya bu dansta.
That we just heard was by the students of Tapham's Cultural School. Thank you again for a beautiful start to our program. Thank you all for attending today's event. Mia is deeply honored to be part of a community that celebrates its rich and diverse cultural heritage. One significant example of our connection to the Tibetan community is our connection to the Tibetan American community in Minnesota, which, if you didn't know, is the second largest community, Tibetan community in the United States, second only to Queens, New York. We are very grateful for our partnership with Tibetan American Foundation of Minnesota, TAFM as it's called, with whom we have been partnering since August of 2023 in a number of collaborative events, of which this is one, in a year-long series called Celebrate Tibet. And you also just heard recently from Tenzin Lamo, the current president of TAFM. So if you're not already familiar with the Tibetan American Foundation of Minnesota, since its founding in 1992, TAFM has become a key cultural and social hub.
Being here today, thank you, Rajda, for that introduction. I know how difficult it is with our long winters for you all to opt into spending an afternoon in a dark auditorium to discuss death. As I was making my way to the museum this afternoon, I passed beneath a gigantic crabapple tree, and its blossoms were being spread on the ground beneath it. And it brought to mind the Japanese use of cherry blossoms as a metaphor for the transience of life. So in some ways, in this season, just at this time, there is some logic to being here with us today. We thank you for that. So today, I'd like to, before I begin, I have the dubious distinction of being asked to contextualize the shrine in the course of about 12 minutes. And Life University in Marietta, Georgia. He is the founder of Drupa Monastery, Oasis of Dharma in St. Paul, and the resident teacher at the Kacholin Dharma Center in Minneapolis. Drupa Rinpoche has worked as a researcher at the University of Minnesota's School of Public Health, and he is a volunteer at the Buddhist chaplain at the Hennepin County Medical Center. And so he'll be joining me on stage in a bit. Also with us today is Dr. Tenzing Namdul, who is a medical anthropologist and a Tibetan medicine doctor. He is an assistant professor and director of the Tibetan Healing Initiative at the University of Minnesota's Center for Spirituality and Healing. He is also an affiliate faculty member at the University of Minnesota's Asian American Studies program. And together with Dr. Miriam Cameron, he is a co-author of have it here, Tibetan Medicine and You, A Path to Well-Being, Better Health, and Joy. We have copies available of this remarkable publication. And following today's presentation, there'll be a book signing in the Regis Court just outside of the auditorium. So by way of reminder, the Tibetan shrine that is now a permanent display here at the museum is a gift of Dr. Alice Kendall. We unveiled the shrine on September 14th of last year, and in commemoration of this remarkable gift to the museum, we've been hosting a variety of programmings in partnership with TAFM, as Virajita mentioned, designed to give us a greater insight into the shrine and to Tibetan Buddhism in general. Alice Kendall is a Harvard-trained child psychologist who lives and works in New York. She was first exposed to Tibetan culture in 1965 when she attended the coronation of the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Sikkim, who happened to marry Alice's friend and college classmate, the American Hope Cook. Alice traveled to Sikkim, neighboring Nepal, and India several times in the following years, following the coronation, and was even asked by the then king of Sikkim to document the country's culture, from family farms to religious events to life within the royal palace. Alice's photographs were published in this country by Time Life and Redbook, and her entire archive of some 15,000 photographs are now in the Library of Congress. Over the ensuing decades, Alice became a passionate collector of Tibetan ritual objects that came onto the market in the United States, vowing to keep and display them in a respectful manner akin to the shrines and monasteries that she visited on her journeys to Sikkim and neighboring countries. By 2010, her collection had grown to such a degree that she donated over 200 objects to the National Museum of Asian Art in Washington, D.C. for the establishment of a Tibetan shrine within their galleries. On that occasion, His Holiness expressed his appreciation for her dedication to preserving Tibetan art and culture and for sharing it with the broader public. In 2019, she visited us here at MIA, but also met with representatives from TAFM and the Gyuto Wheel of the Dharma Monastery. She was impressed with MIA and its long commitment to Asian art, but she was also struck by the sizable Tibetan community here in Minnesota and the warm welcome that she received when meeting with representatives from TAFM and from the monastery. By 2023, she had decided to give her second shrine to a public institution. This time, that institution is MIA. And as you know, the shrine was unveiled last September. So, what is a Tibetan shrine? And I think that as I look at this audience, I think I have to apologize. This is redundant for most of you, but I'll go quickly through this. It's a
Thank you. That's the let's tang zu ten de tang zu pa na de bu zu chou do de la sa sho ge ne da da bu de la sa sho ge pa pa lo de ra din shar ge de le ra zu bu de za da zu chou do de la ni ta shar ge de ne shar ge ta sa ga na khala sa ga to she nga ra chou do nge do chi ko yi ko do ko chi kare
What is written?
ale Chinese da 이게 개미 얘기 치다 개미 얘기 고소만 뮤지엄으로도 콘서트 담내된 저 배하고 당서 디블라 따야다 망고도 디블라 안티케는 망타트 다디 가르 롱바기 돌로 나타 직도 돌로데 그래서 이제 가서 파파도 오지 근데 너무 망고도 다 일단 어제 텐데 저거 동이도 치스. Oh my god. 어머. 이마지 헬레신 될래어도 될라. 오늘. 헬레요. 디 पुतला रे संस्था दी पुतला रे मिलो खाओ दे रे आजो ता फातुंगा दे ये लस्ते थैंक यू तुचना तेई जला alsa and ana ता दे बोले थिएटर Frozen gaji chik so de do Frozen movie. Ah, mama, enjoy pe thegi dela. Oh my god. The parking jo thi ro, my sang marda. 그 콘서 데라 된 셰텐데 다데 테터 데라 테터 다냐 아사가 직수다 아사 남시야 왜 아픈 당수? 야, 상관도
被不穷落上啦，不穷落上啦。看你来一世让心点点亮点不越那样，刻刻图心扛着心月，俺俩送热闹。心做么啦？ Keel hai sing na shi tin de nyam te bo me kyang ang shi sho pa da we te don ju war me
sa thang ting yi ngai chung di la ngai chung di la